So to access the FCCMA website dashboard area, the first thing you'll do is come to the logon screen and enter the username and password that has been provided to your system administrator. You'll notice that you'll access this login through fccma.org/ either wp-admin or wp-login. Either URL will bring you to this page. Once you log in, rather than seeing the front of the website as the public would see, the first area that you're brought to is the dashboard. And in the dashboard, it's going to really give you an overview of all of the content from the various pages, media, all of the content that's available on FCCMA. We've also included a couple of things that you'll see right away from just a quick overview is your Google Analytics. This is meant to be just sort of a quick overview of your daily traffic. We also have provided you with access to the Google Analytics account for you to dive deeper into analytics should you decide that you wanted to set up any reports to be automatically generated and sent to you on a weekly or monthly basis, however you would choose for that information to be sent. But this is just a quick overview that shows you over a 30-day period the amount of users, the amount of page views, how many pages per session a person is viewing, how many people are finding you via an organic search as opposed to, say, ads that may have been placed, whether they be Facebook ads or Google AdWords, and then your bounce rate. The other information that's included here is we have 2 forms that are currently active on your site. There's a sort of general contact us form, and there's an ethics certification form. We'll go over in later in the training where those notifications are and how to edit those forms, but this is just a quick overview. Also here we have an at-a-glance that shows that this website has 139 total pages. Obviously, all 139 of those pages are not active or visible to the public. They may have been archived or just removed from the navigation menu that's currently active. And then it's got 744 posts. And I think it's important, if you're not familiar with WordPress, as a content management system over 10 years ago, it actually started as a blogging platform where writers and bloggers were creating these short topical articles and organizing them by categories. And so WordPress really got its start in that area. And so the difference between a post and a page is that WordPress posts have the ability to be organized and gathered by these categories. So, if you were to have a category such as city government or local government, county manager, or job area, whatever your category that you create and assign to that post, the end user has the ability to click on a hyperlinked category when presented with that option, and pretty much instantaneously WordPress will present them with like a search result of every article post that has been categorized with that particular topic category. Unlike pages that are traditionally static in nature and don't have the capability of being categorized is just a kind of a brief overview of the difference between posts and pages. Now, with the new theme that we've installed for FCCMA, we do have the flexibility of creating a page, and then within that page, creating sort of like a little section or row where we are bringing over these post content by category, and we'll talk about that in a minute when we look at the conference presentation sections where we've actually utilized the posts functionality and used the category of, say, 2014 presentations or 2015 presentations. But the theme that allows us to do many of the functions and make the website pretty, for lack of a better word, is this, it's called the 7. And so this is not really necessarily an area that you're going to edit, but I did just want to briefly touch on it. The options that are available for the 7 are found just by hovering over the theme options. And again, you're probably not going to go into the branding area and change the logo. You're probably not going to go in and change the menu, you know, that green bar that's the background color. But you do have access to that information or to those settings, and you can go in. So I'm not going to spend really any time going in because all of this has kind of already been set for you. But you do have the ability to go in and make those edits should you decide, hey, we want to change the background of our menu to purple instead of green. You have that capability. You're not reliant upon our services to make those changes to your website. Just any questions off the bat in terms of what we've just kind of overviewed?
I don't have any.
Okay. So now what we're going to do is since I'm going to kind of flip to the front side of the website as people would see the website as the public-facing side. And so just notice I just clicked on the FCCMA.org in the top. So to flip back and forth between the dashboard, you just simply click on that FCCMA.org in the very top left-hand corner, and that will take you to the front of the website. So I'm going to talk about the home page and how the home page is constructed to give you, again, an overview of the different elements that have been used to build the website. Again, this top area is the main menu or the main navigation, and you can go in and edit that. There's a couple of ways to get there. A quick jump, you can just hover over the FCCMA and you can either go into the dashboard and then go into menus, or it's provided a quick link that you can jump and go quickly into the menu section. And we'll dive into that a little bit deeper after I go over the page as a whole. But from that menu area, we can change the order and configuration of the various drop-downs as well as the order of items that are presented. So that's the menu and main navigation area. This next section, which is basically a slider, as it's known, this is an area in the dashboard called Layer Slider, and appropriately named because each one of these is a layer in and of itself, where we have a photo, and then we have a layer with this white text on a green background, and then we have the green text on a white background. These are separate layers, and each layer has the ability to be edited and linked. The nice thing about this particular kind of setup is, other than making sure that your image is sized correctly, everything can be edited within the website. You don't need Photoshop to be able to edit that. I know when we were looking at changing out this first image that Carol had sent over, this picture from the most recent conference, and she wasn't quite sure if the original image was the proper size to be used. And I believe we'll look this up, but I want to say the actual image size is like 1,700 pixels by 700. So it does take a fairly large image to take up this full width page image. So that's something important to remember when wanting to change out your images on your slider, that, you know, if it's an image that was taken by a camera and you have the original image, you're going to be safe. If you find an image like on Facebook that one of your members took and they uploaded it to Facebook, Facebook gives you the option to like download that image. If you do that, more than likely that image is not going to be large enough, because those images uploaded to Facebook are only like 1,000 pixels wide by maybe 500 tall, so it's only going to take up about 2/3 of this picture. Or when you do upload it, it's going to kind of zoom in and pixelate and not look very professional. So again, I'm going to go in the back end and we're going to look at the layer slider more in depth, but that's what this first section is. From this point on, everything that we're going to look at is pretty much available to us in the edit page function, which we'll look at, but I just want to kind of review with you just from sort of an instructional approach, that each one of these sections you need to think of as a row, and inside of each row we have created columns. So this is a row, and then we've made just kind of like a 1/4 column, and then this text block area here takes up the other 3/4 of a column. So you can almost think of this as like a Lego system, if you will, where you've got a row and then 1/4 and 3/4. And then this next area is also a row, but it's set up into, as you can see, there's 3 columns. And then inside this column we have an interactive element that allows us to have a photo and then text. And as you can see, my cursor becomes active because this is a link that will take us to the member login area. And then this section again is just a link to another internal page where the jobs are located. So each one of these sections is an image and then a link to where we want to take the visitor. This bottom section is kind of like I was talking earlier. It's dynamic in that we have this row, and we've told it, okay, inside of this row, I want to show all of my posts that are categorized with the category of FCCMA news.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
Did you get to this by going to the edit page?
No, I'm actually just looking at the website homepage, just
Okay.
as if we weren't logged in, or, you know,
Okay.
just as if we were the public.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. In a minute, I'm going to click edit page, and we're going to look at the back end to see what it looks like. But I just wanted to kind of talk in instructional mode, so that when we do log into the back end, you'll have a reference point of, oh, I remember when we talked about that. He said that was like the blog post area and the category. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So this is putting in chronological order in, you know, the most recent article was posted on May 20th, and then these 4, posts were added on May 17th. And so we've got that information. Now you'll notice that depending on the size of the image that is associated with this particular post, it will vary these thumbnails. As you can see, this picture of the young lady from South Palm Beach is very portrait or in orientation, whereas this is more of a square and this is more of a square. If you wanted these to be more symmetrical, you would need to use a program and make sure that all of the images used were sized exactly the same. So whether that's a 500 by 500 square or a 500 by 300 rectangle, you could make all of these line up, in their orientation. But with Pinterest and all of the social media, I think our visitors are less concerned that they line up like a piece of print material, and more concerned that the graphic is actually, captures our attention. So my recommendation is don't get hung up in how it lines up. Be more concerned that your reader will be enticed to click on it because you've selected a good picture.
I have a question. Can I ask you a question, Michael?
Yeah.
Okay, so the article that's on the end there, the 2016 city stats, is there a way of when I'm doing the newsletter again, and they have importance on that, the Florida League of Cities, so they want that to kind of stay on there as like a top article? How do you get that to change the date where it's going to move, like in front of June 2016 new members, let's say?
Sure.
Or is it going to go off the page because, as I add new articles, that one is obviously originally was put out there earlier?
Great question. So as we can see, the dates that these articles were published is included in what's called the fancy date. And we can actually hide that, and I'll show you the settings when we edit the page, but I want to quickly answer your question. So let's say, for instance, that I want to make sure that this article remains as a prominent location on this news feed. So what I could do is I could make sure, okay, if this is the first article that's on here, and I want this one to be, right here or whatever, all I need to do is look at the date and time that these articles were published, and then I can edit that. So let's say, for instance, I'm going to go ahead and click on this post. All right, and so now that this post is here, I can come up to the top and click on Edit Post, which takes me back to the back end of the dashboard into the area that I can actually make edits. And underneath in the Publish box, which is always in this top right-hand corner, it says Published on May 17th. Well, I can click on the Edit button, and I can simply change this to the 18th.
Okay.
Which would then put it right next to the one that was published on the 20th.
Okay.
Now,
and then if I wanted to, let's just say that, because, I don't want to put another article out there on the 2016 City Stats Survey now underway, I could make some slight changes even to the title and edit it up here in the top where you got your permalink. I could edit the permalink and we could change the whole thing if we wanted to.
You absolutely could. Just make sure that you understand if you've linked to this article anywhere else and you change that permalink, when someone tries to click on it, let's say they've got an old email, or something, and you've linked to this article. If you edit that permalink and they click on the old one, they're going to end up at a page not found.
Okay, so I may want to do a copy to a new draft then.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
You might want to just copy to a new draft and start over, right.
Okay. All right, that answers that question. I can do it either way, depending on what I'm changing.
Yeah, depending on what you need to accomplish. And then when you have a situation like, you know, where you've got, say, 4 articles that were originally published on, you know, May 17th, you notice that you can actually even go down into the hour and minutes. So if you had 4 posts on the 17th, you could edit the hour and minutes to make them show up in the order by the hour.
Okay.
So that granular control down to the hour and minutes is really how, if you wanted to, if we go back to the home page, if you wanted to put those 4 posts that were published on the 17th, if you wanted them in a specific order, you know, you would just make, you know, this one later in the day, you know, earlier in the day, because it's putting them in descending chronological order.
Okay.
Like this will be at 5 p.m., 1 p.m., 10 a.m., 8 a.m. And keep in mind, too, that the time edits are military time. So if you needed this one to be 5 p.m., that would be 1700.
Yeah, I saw that when it was up.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, so, and then notice, too, we have this little, what's called a pagination, where we've told it, okay, you can show up to 10 posts in this area, even though we have 744 of them. We've only said, hey, show 10. And that's how come there's this little 1 and number 2. Now, we have a link here that says View All News, which goes to the page that will basically be kind of like an archive that shows all of our posts with pagination set up. All right, back to the home page.
And that's how you get back to the home page, is you go and click in the...
Click on the icon, the logo in the middle, correct.
Okay.
And then at the very bottom of the home page, we have a Contact Us form. This is that general contact form. And that really ends the home page. This bottom section down here is actually the footer. And the footer displays on every page and every post on the website. And the links and content that are in the footer area are actually edited from the widget section, which we'll talk about widgets in a little bit once we go into the dashboard area. But I just want to make sure, a lot of times this is you know, people get confused and they're trying to edit this and they're like trying to do it by edit page. And this section is not actually on the home page. It's actually in the footer of every page on the website and on every post, which is why these quick links are very important, as well as your contact phone number information, and, you know, the importance of your initiative and link that you've got here in the middle. All right. So now that I've kind of gone an overview, I'm going to click on Edit Page so we can look at the back end of this edit section. So you'll notice that you have a thing called Visual Composer, and that's what creates this sort of drag and drop page builder. As I mentioned, we've got a layout where we've got just a small column and a larger column. And you'll see that we have some settings. We have a 1/2, a 2/3, 1/3, and so I can change the layout of this row by simply clicking on any of these icons, and it'll automatically reconfigure all of the elements that are contained within this first row. And then you'll notice the second row, which is broken up into the three interactive banners, which have the little member login, the jobs, and the training. And then we have a little space there. And then here's that second row. Here's our recent news. Here's the row that has our blog with the category of FCCMA. Here's our Contact Us form with the form that we brought over. And again, the home page, because we're dynamically pulling over the news items, and we've kind of, selected these 6 core call to action areas, there's probably not a whole lot of editing that you're going to do, but if you did want to edit it, it's very simple. You hover over the area that you want to edit, click on the pencil. It'll bring up this little dialog box. And here you'll see you can change the title. You can change the link. That's an interesting little picture there. Why that image isn't showing up. As you can see, I've clicked on and I'm viewing the media library. And this is all the documents and images that have been used on the website to build the website. And I'm just looking here at another browser to make sure I know which picture. What were we on? We were on jobs. The jobs picture is this one with the people sitting in their laps. So if you wanted to change that picture, you can change it. You can change the link. And I've just noticed that I think maybe some of these training images may have been triggered when we switched from the temporary to this new, to the permanent. Sorry, just some little house cleaning here. So you can see how I'm changing these pictures.
Mhm.
Now, if I didn't have it in my media library, I could just go into my computer and upload the picture. Again, the only thing that's important is I just need to remember that the size of these tiles have been, specifically designed to, line up appropriately. And you can see here that these tiles have been made 500 by 300 pixels. So that is important to remember. All right, now inside of the, let's say for instance, in all, and you can see the settings here, we could have other posts and titles show up in our news feed by simply just clicking on one of these categories. Notice we've got the grid, the number of items. If we don't want the date to show up, we can uncheck this button. And here I said number of posts to show. Well, let's say you guys decide that, you know what, I don't know if anybody realizes what that little number 2 is down at the bottom. We could actually just change this to 5 because we already have a link at the bottom that says view all the news, right?
Right.
So then if I do that and I hit save changes, once you save the changes to the area that you've edited, you need to make sure that you hit the update button to make sure that the page itself saves those changes. So you save your changes in the element you're working in, and then you update the page that you're working in. And then you can hit view page and go back to and view it from the public facing side. Now you can see the little number 1 and 2 are gone. It's just showing me these first 5 elements, and then now I can click View All News. What do you think, Carol? Did you ever notice the 1 and 2?
No, I never did.
Well, the reason why I say that is if we, by eliminating those, the home page only has to pull 5 items instead of 10. Now, that's not that big of a deal, but in terms of getting the website to load the page faster, if it only has to load 5 versus 10, it's going to load a little faster.
Yeah.
So it's another reason why I think, you know, we could have just I removed it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
They can view all the news when they want to.
Right. So let's go and quickly look at the layer slider. So to access the layer slider, it's one of the few elements that you can't actually edit on the page that you're viewing it on. You need to go into the dashboard area and then go into layer slider and then hit all sliders.
We need to fix that one slider too. You know, since the deadline has passed for the proposals.
Okay.
We need to take that off since Casey's working on that.
All right, we'll do that. So right now we have slide 1, 2, and 3. So slide 2 is the initiative. So do you have something that you want to put in its place?
Not right at the moment. I mean, we may eventually, but not right now.
So do you want to delete that slide and just have the 2 slides?
No. I want the slide. I want the little thing out of it. That learn more about the proposals.
I got
that
you.
white
So this
thing.
layer we need to get rid of.
Right, because we're not calling for proposals right now.
Right. We still want people to know about the initiative.
Yes.
Right, okay. So all we need to do then is we can see that, again, the name of this is layer slider. So layer 1.
Would this be considered, the one that you're about to delete, would that be considered layer 3?
Right, you can kind of see as I'm clicking on the layer.
Oh, I see.
What the content is.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, because it's coming up down at the bottom of the screen.
Right.
Okay.
So I know that this is the layer that I need to get rid of. So I can just go ahead and hit the trash can. And then I can leave the rest of it. Now, the only thing I want to double check, so we are linking to the Life Well Run Florida, website.
Mhm.
And I think what we should do in this case is rather than opening it on the same page, I want to open this in a new window or on a new page. That way the FCCMA website still stays up, but visitor just opens another browser window.
And layer number 2, can we move layer number 2 down?
Sure.
So that it's not, because we had 2 layers, so it made sense to have that higher. So you're just dragging it.
Yeah, it's just a drag and drop.
Okay.
And
yeah,
then when I'm done, hit
better.
Save Changes. Now, you notice we have, this is the content, then you've got some transition settings like, how that little button appears is what the transition means. Then you've got where it links to, and then you've got the style. And we've said, what the font is, how big the font is, what color the font is, what color the background of the button is, and we've made it that transparent color just by dragging this little mechanism right here is what makes that, kind of see-through.
Okay.
Now, when I want to edit this big photo, the easiest way really is to just click on this thumbnail that says the image background, and then I upload the picture that I want. And again, I thought it was 1700 by 7, but it looks like we're using 1300 by 500 as the default size of that image. Okay, so let's see. We talked about the layer slider. Let's jump real quick to the forms, because we've got that general contact us form. And so I can quickly click on here, and I can see that I'm asking for the name, email, paragraph. So all of our items, if we wanted to add some information, all we have to do is just click on whatever field it is that we want, and then it drops it down here. And then we can change that title, determine whether we want it to be required or not. We can also just drag and drop it to put it in the order that we want it to be, and then hit Update Form. And then when we're trying to look at the little message that displays once the user has completed or submitted that, we can go to the confirmations. And so here you can edit this text so that once they submit that, the user sees this message.
So these messages automatically go to you because you've been forwarding them to me?
No, this message is this is what the end user sees when they hit the submit button.
No, I know, but I'm talking about the contact form. They've been going to you?
Up until that last one that came through,
and
then that last one that came through, I took my email off.
Okay, so now mine is on. Okay.
And you are getting the notifications. And so, if you wanted, you can add additional emails by just adding a comma, space, and then you can put additional email addresses, and you can have, really unlimited people copied if you needed to.
Okay.
But, like if you and Casey and somebody else wanted to get copies of, for whatever reason, you can put multiple email addresses in there.
Okay.
I'm just going to update this. And then the other form that we have is the certification, the ethics certification form. So that's all that information. Again, same thing, notifications, confirmation settings, which you can edit. Now, notice too, when I clicked on just the forms link, it shows me the two forms, and then it shows me the entries. So if I want, I can just click on the hyperlink number. And it shows me all the people who have completed that form. If I wanted to export this information, I can click on Import Export, and then select the name of the form that I want. And it's gathering the form fields. My browser got hung up there for a minute. There we go. So I could just select all, but if I know all, like maybe I was gonna just do a quick email list, right? I didn't want to get all this other information.
Right.
So I could do that, or I could also pick a date range, because those 40, things could be whoever, who knows how long those have been recording. Well, that's probably since we launched the new website, because I don't think we were using Gravity Forms on the old version. But you can pick a date range, and then you can do download the export file, and then it drops it into an Excel spreadsheet for you. All right, so, and then the other area that I wanted to talk about was the menus. And I remember I told you can get there from the drop down, or if you're in here, and it's kind of hidden. You might, just kind of make a note for yourself to remember that the widget area and the menu area is located under Appearance.
Okay.
And then I can go to Menus.
And that's, the menus are all like the things on the home page, well, on any page, but like if you want to go to let's see, conferences or whatever the top of that one is, then all the way what's under it is all right here.
Right.
Events and training, that's what I meant.
You got it. So the first step, if you were going to actually add something, add a page to the navigation bar, the first thing that you would do is you would have gone into and created the page, first of all.
Right.
And then once you've created, it's going to, notice we have three different options here. So the most recent page that's been created on the website is the page that has the diversity statement on it. Or if I wanted to look at a listing of all 139 pages in alphabetical order, or I can just hit search. Oops. And it will start to show me results. Now, notice that the results here have the word committee in the title of the page. So that's how the search result is showing me that content. So let's say, for instance, that this was the page that I wanted, and I wanted to add this member committees under the About section, under the strategic plan. I would check the box, click Add to Menu. It would drop it down to the bottom of the menu. Then I would just click on it, noticing the little crosshairs. And then I drag and drop and put it right in the order that I want. And obviously I've got it sort of indented under the About section, which is how it knows kind of, you know, where to put it. And then once I'm finished, I would hit Save Menu, and that would update the menu on the navigation bar on the home page. If I don't hit Save Menu, I will get a little box that says, this page is asking you to confirm that you want to leave. The data you have entered may not be saved. Do you want to stay on it or leave the page? Well, in this case, I don't want to save my changes, so I'm going to leave. Yes, I want to leave. So you can see that area has not changed.
So, when you just were going to add it under strategic plan, in the menu, does it have where you can see, because we went through it kind of fast, like how the drop down looks? Because you had, you know, let's go back down. All right, strategic plan, but you have the other things that are on that page too that were off to the side. Because you got like the drop down menu where it's like, you know, 3 columns, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yes, right. So let me open another browser window here.
Yes, like, so you've got these like headings, and then you've got things underneath them. So where are they all located there? Because I didn't see anything under strategic plan. So where's the other side there, the other 2, 3 things?
Okay, so we are using I think I may have been on the wrong menu. All right. I'm gonna do a little house cleaning here. So notice in our managed locations,
Yeah, you had different things there.
this is new for the new you know, design. On the previous one, we had a traditional navigation bar, and I left that active in case we ever decide, hey, we're gonna put that logo back on the other side. We won't have to rebuild the whole menu again.
Okay.
So that's why it's in there. You just need to remember that when you're trying to edit that menu, the one on the left, you need to make sure you pick the right menu to edit. And then see, this will show you, here's the About, here's that first row that's labeled Association Documents.
Okay, that's where it is then. Okay,
Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah. You've got to make sure you're editing the correct menu.
Okay.
So the one on the other side, over here.
And that's the other side of the logo. Okay.
That's the right side.
Okay, so our menus now are broken up into 2 menus, left and right.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about the individual pages themselves. Okay, so this is a pretty simple page. One thing that we should note is the background of the city. All of this is actually, you're not editing this. It's a part of the overall theme options,
Okay.
which is called page title. So, you know, the theme automatically puts this picture in the top of every page automatically. There is a way to override it, page by page. You just got to have the right size image to go in this box, otherwise it's going to look funny.
Okay.
But I do want to show you editing page. Notice this little public service photo gallery
Uh-huh.
is showing up. Remember we talked about that?
Yes.
We use that kind of as like a default placeholder.
Mhm.
And to get rid of that, we just have to disable this little sidebar options.
Mhm.
Now, this particular page, you'll notice this content is just written in straight, basic visual editor. It's not inside the visual composer. So I want to change that. Pretty simple. I can just copy this text, click on back in editor. Notice this will show my visual composer. And then I'm going to click on add element. This will show me my available options, which there are a lot. We could literally spend a month going through what all this stuff does. But the basics are create your row, decide how many columns you want in the row. In this case, we only need one, so we can keep it one. And then I click on the plus sign and decide, do I want to put a picture in it? Do I just need text? Which, yes, I do. And then I can paste that content. Now, if I decide, you know what, I do want to put a picture in here. I want to put a picture right over here.
Michael.
Yeah.
What was the reason what were you showing with the deletion of the bylaws and charter, and then you putting it in another?
Oh, yeah. So what I was copying and pasting was this page may have been one of the old pages before we upgraded to the Visual Composer editor.
Okay.
So I was just using this kind of as a training exercise to demonstrate how to add a Visual Composer element when it's not active to start with.
Okay.
Great question, though. So I'm going to put a picture in here. I'm just going to put the logo. Perfect. Now notice when I'm adding this image that the default settings for adding an image is going to set it to thumbnail. I wish I could force the system to change that, but I can't. That's the way it does. It defaults to thumbnail. It has a little explanation down here that says you can put in, you know, various sizes, but I'm just going to put in full because I know it will work just fine. I can do a caption, I can align it left, right, or center. If I wanted to have this image link to something or a page or a PDF, I could just click Open Custom Link and then copy and paste the link in it. If I wanted to have it open in a new window or the same, I have that option. If I want to do some fancy stuff or when it comes in, fade in, fade down. You could literally play with these settings for a month. We'll do fade in down because that's pretty chill. All right, so I've got some options there. So now I've got this little bit of text. I have this little picture. I've disabled the sidebar because I don't want that. Now I'm ready to update my page. And now we can look at how that looks. You see how that little thing just kind of slid down there?
Mhm.
Pretty snazzy.
So we could literally put that on all those just document pages.
Yeah.
There's, like, because you got State of the Association and all those different.
Oh, and again, what's cool is you know, the Visual Composer again, and that is, it's such an easy thing to kind of, you know, once you start to get comfortable, anywhere that you see a plus sign, you know, you can you access the all the different elements. So if I wanted to put another picture in here, you know, I could do that. And then let's say I'm like, no, I don't want that. I just hit the delete.
Mhm.
And then what else is neat is I can actually, let's say I wanted this little guy to be on this side, and then the other, you know, I can just drag and drop, and now hit update, and now I've got the image here and the content on the other side. So without knowing any code whatsoever, I've changed the layout of the web page. That's so extremely,
Mhm.
you know, user-friendly to be able to just move this stuff around without any HTML. That was the biggest complaint that I had about that other theme, you know, that we had built 4 years ago, is you had to know all those short codes and crazy stuff.
Right.
Okay. So for the most part, everything else that's on here is an editable page, or a link to, you know, something in the website. Now, this is kind of an interesting thing here, where we have the membership brochure being linked. Where was that at?
It's in the membership.
Yeah, so that's the brochure, and we've actually in the navigation bar, we've linked to a document. Okay. And the ability to do that, first of all, is we've got to have that document in the media library to begin with. So I can go to media, click on library, then click on add new. You can see where she's uploaded PDFs already.
Can I delete those? Because I accidentally made some changes, so it looks like I've got a lot of stuff in the media library that I don't need.
Yes, you can delete these permanently, not a problem.
Or kill them, Michael.
Yeah, kill.
I'm gonna not use that word right now.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Oh my gosh, that was funny.
So if I just click on any item, whether it's a document or a picture or whatever, if I click on it, it shows me the actual, file in the library, and there is a little button here, delete permanently. Now, you have to be very careful because, these items are being referenced somewhere on some page.
Right. Well, you can see how I uploaded them earlier, and then I said, oh, there's some mistakes in there. So you can see they're uploaded again.
Right, and you can see how the naming convention, membership committee members and -1, so you've uploaded a file that's named exactly the same thing, and so the only way for a link to be created to this item is for it to be assigned at least one differentiator in the actual file path name.
Right.
Okay, and that file path name is this long URL, and so I'm bringing this point up because now that I have that URL, I can copy it, and I can do a lot of things with it. I can use it in the website. I can go to the menus section, and rather than trying to add a page, I can add a custom link. I would copy the URL that I just got from the file, and then I can put my title, and then add it to the menu and drag and drop and put it in the area that I want. I can also use it in an email and I can either do it like that, or I can do it like this. Right?
Right. So you just hyperlinked it.
Yeah. And that's really helpful because you'll notice that when you go to the media library, but there are some restrictions in the file sizes, but it's pretty dang big, 128 megabytes, which is about 5 times larger than the largest file you could send through your email. So this becomes really helpful if you have a large PDF that you need to be distributed, but you don't want to upload it into email, right?
Right.
Okay. So we've talked about the menus. I can't remember if you did away with your calendar. No, you still have your calendar, right?
Which needs to be updated.
So this calendar, obviously, if I were to hit edit page, I'm not actually going to edit this calendar. This is pulling over the settings that are coming from the My Calendar. So to add any calendar dates, we would simply go to My Calendar. I can look at all of the events that are in the current calendar. And here is a list that's based on date and time. And then if I need to add a new event item, I can just hit Add New. And put in my title, my description. I can add an image. I can set my date and time. it's an all-day event, I can hide the time. And then once I click Save Event, it will automatically add it to my calendar. Now, let's talk about the conference archives, because we got that coming up.
Right.
Have you added any yet?
Not yet.
Okay. So what I want to do is I'm going to use this as a training exercise. I'm going to take this, I'm going to hit Edit Page.
Did you already set up the 2016 as a category?
I did.
Just haven't done anything with it yet.
Yeah, I set up the category already. Let's review setting up a category. My internet just is like, what? So from the dashboard area, if I go to the post and then categories, I will see that, we've got all the other ones.
Okay, I thought we did. All right.
Yeah, I think we cloned the page is what we did.
Okay.
So I'm going to just grab this, make this easy.
So it's a slug. The URL-friendly version of the name. Okay.
You can actually leave it blank and it'll assign it by itself. So we now got it there. And then if we go to pages,
So this time we're actually going to add a page. Well, we're going to add a page, and then when I do posts, those posts and pick categories are going to go to that page. Is that correct?
yeah, so we did create a draft of that 2016 page.
Okay.
And we already laid it out using Visual Composer. We did a row, we put in the title, we need the where and when, and the settings that we're going to use. Again, I think sometimes it's helpful to look at a previous version.
Okay, can I send you one so that we can go through like one?
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. Shoot
All
it
right,
to me.
let me go. Okay, 2016.
And notice when I'm editing text, I have the ability to make size changes to fonts and whatnot.
All right, I just sent you one. Now I'm going to probably want to rename it so they'll know what session it's from. But let me go find it. Okay.
Got it.
All right. So let me ask you this. Not that I have more than one presentation for per session, but if I just put the name of the session, and then we could add, if I had multiple PowerPoints, we could add it to that post, correct? So that they'll look for the session. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
So first thing I'm going to do is add my post. You know, one thing that
So the name of that particular post, I don't want to name it FCCMA internships. I want to name it ICMA Next Generation Initiatives. But this is the post that would go. But this would be one PowerPoint I have.
yeah. So my recommendation to you here is to save all of your PowerPoints as PDFs.
Right, and I do that. I don't do them as PowerPoints.
All right. So this is called what?
Well,
what are we going to name it?
We can name it FCCMA internships, but the
title of the post is going to be different.
Yes, exactly.
I got you. All right. So we got a new post.
Mhm.
And
So
it's going to be called what?
ICMA, all caps. Okay, and then next generation initiatives. And then that's it. And then that PowerPoint that I just sent you is they'll be able to see, okay, Mike Grebus gave one, so.
So I just wanted a little title in there.
Right. Okay.
So notice that I'm not using Visual Composer.
Mhm.
We could. I'm just making it pretty simple.
Okay.
But we could click on Backend Editor and get all fancy. You just have to decide how you're going to do it. The important thing is, whatever you do, you're consistent with all of them. And then, so now we're gonna make sure that this shows up in the right category by checking the box 2016 presentation. And for our featured image, we can just use the conference logo. Now here's an important part. If I check, notice where we're at here. Here's my content that I wrote. I don't need the header option. under post options, it says hide featured image on post page. If I click that button,
Mhm.
that will take away the big picture that shows up at the top of the post.
Oh, so like so then how do you, so where's the picture show up then?
All right, so let me go ahead and I'm going to publish this.
So we can make my jobs look better?
Yes.
Okay.
So we've created a post. We put the category in it. Now we can go to our page that we are setting up with the 2016 presentation. And we're working with the settings to make this page have a little section that will display the 2016, and this is not showing up because I was in the middle of it. Let me just update this so it'll show me the new categories available. And here it is, 2016. And notice, like, I want the presentations to show the little logo, the title, the little description. You know, I could have them on the left, the right, checkerboard. I don't need the dates. I think, what do we do? We did 12. Again, just kind of follow the settings that we used before. Show all the pages, show the excerpts, no, show read more, yes, and then everything is no. All right, so we've got everything set. We'll hit update. Bear with me, I'm jumping around for a minute. There we go. So here's our new page. We got our placeholder. This is going to look nice when you have all those presentations. And so they just click on it and then they can go here's our photo gallery. You know what? We should just get rid of that. We'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah. So once you keep adding those, now you have a format. You just put in your title, your detail, and your featured image. And this is the big image I was telling you about.
Yeah. So I don't like that.
Yeah, not a problem. Here's what you do. So if you just click inside of the article and hit Add Media, you've already uploaded her picture.
Yeah, it's in there somewhere. Her name is Maylee if you want to search for it.
How do you spell it?
Maylee.
Again, and that's only going to show up if we save the file with that as her name. So notice I'm about to insert it. I can say right, left, or center. I got some sizes. I don't want the big one. I just want a medium size, nice little picture. Insert into post. It's going to put it over here on the right-hand side.
So instead of having it as the featured...
No. We still need the featured image because that's what will be displayed on the home page when it's displaying it, you know, in like the category view. Right?
Okay.
We still need a featured image for it to show up here.
Okay. All right. But
when someone's looking at the individual post, we don't want the featured image
on the post page.
On the actual post itself. We want to show it this way.
Okay. All right.
So now, where did my internet connection go?
So what I would, for the jobs, I do the same type thing. I would add a featured image of the logo, and then I would add it into the actual post as an add media, and then I click don't hit whatever you just had, hide on post page or whatever, so I wouldn't have this giant thing at the top.
You got it.
Okay. All right. That'll be helpful then. Because I wanted to ask you about that because I didn't like that. and pick
Also
medium.
Notice too, like if you get a picture like this one, you know, it's kind of like caught right in that.
Yeah, it didn't allow you to change the size.
Yeah, you can just click on it and then grab the little anchor point here.
Mhm.
And make it a little bit smaller. Check the box, hide this featured image, hide it on the post.
Okay.
And then hit update.
Good. So what does purge from cache mean?
So, because there's so much content on the website, we did include a cache plugin, which, you know how sometimes Internet Explorer used to be really bad about it. Your computer will store temporary internet files to be able to try to pull the website up faster.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a good practice to have, but sometimes it doesn't show the update that you just did. So in some cases, what you may need to do, like if you had made a change and it wasn't showing up, the first thing you should do is come up here to Performance, and you can either just click on Empty All Cache or Purge from Cache, and basically it's like, hey, let's refresh the temporary internet files for the website.
Okay, because I've been having to use Empty All Cache because you had told me that. Because every once in a while I'll get an email from somebody and they'll say, I can't see the post. Like I can see it, but they can't.
Right. And it's
so
happening most often with your posts?
Yeah, it's happening quite a bit. So I've just gotten in the habit of going and hitting Empty All Cache pretty much after I put a post out there because it's just easier than getting a complaint.
Right.
And then I have to go and do it then.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think especially like with the home page, like you said, the post is there, but what's happening for some of those end users is it's not showing up here. And that's when you're hitting the empty cache, and then it shows for whatever reason it's caching. So You know, we had a similar problem with the previous theme, but it seemed like after about 60 days after the site went live, it stopped doing that. So just make a note, maybe after July 1st,
Okay.
you're continuing to have that issue. Just send me a little note.
Okay.
I'll submit a support ticket to the theme developer and see if there's any settings or updates that we can do to help eliminate that additional step.
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
Again, so editing any page is, if it's a page you're going to look at, you'll first determine whether or not it's already been set up into Visual Composer. So we just go hit Edit Page. So this page, we can see that this page has not been converted to Visual Composer.
Mhm.
So if I want, I could just Control A, Control C.
Let's take off the divider shadow and for more information on previous trainings. I don't want that on there anymore. And that actually, that whole thing can come off too, because I need to just put a statement in there about
We
the
don't need
new,
that either, right?
right, that's what I'm saying. I need to just put in a statement that the new calendar will be posted by the end of the summer. All of that stuff needs to go out.
And then the other thing I'm going to do is disable the sidebar so that it's a full width page. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we've talked about editing pages, we've talked about editing posts. Oh, look, we can put the conference archives now.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. And what about taking out 2013? That can be just archived, right? We don't
We
need
can
it up
just drop
there.
it off the menu.
Yeah, we don't.
We
I
need
mean,
to
it'll.
go to the menu on the right-hand side. We're going to add the 2016, so we just click Add to Menu.
I mean, if somebody were to search for them, they could find them, but we don't need it in the menu
Oh,
anymore.
right. Mm-hmm. Not right. That menu is on the left. But it's on the right side of that full mega
Yeah.
menu. All right. All right, there's my archives. And notice I just want to edit it so it just has the date. I just delete that off of there. And then you want to drop the 2013.
Yeah, they don't need 4 years up there.
So I bet this is gonna be a case of, we may have changed the menu, and I'm getting, the caching. Oh, there it is. Look it up.
Okay.
All right, any general questions?
Well, the one thing we talked about that we were going to go through is, all right, I'm going to add conference photos. So do I add them onto the conference and training under annual conference page and just do rows and put pictures? Because all that material that's on there needs to come off, except for we talked about the top, leaving the call to action and the dates and stuff, but taking off all this other stuff and adding a photo gallery.
Right, right. All right, so you're going to take this off.
Yeah, I don't think we need any of that up there anymore.
Yeah. So if I want, really quickly, I can just delete this entire block,
Okay.
right? You don't need it?
Mhm.
Done?
Nope. Nope. It's
All
done.
right, so I'm going to delete that.
Okay. And then I guess I have some editing to do up in the upper block.
Yep, you need to convert this to say
Well,
whatever.
yeah.
I think what I would do is I would add a new row,
Okay.
and in that new row, I would put a media grid.
Okay.
I think would be a nice feature.
All right.
And then within the media grid, you can just start uploading your photos.
Mhm. I've got to upload them. So.
Okay. Once you're done uploading your photos, you can say, how many photos per row.
Okay, so go back just a second. So here where you got your images, it says select images from media library. So I can upload all of the pictures that I have in my file, and they would all go in this media library here. And then I just click on the ones individually, or just click on them all, and it will upload them all. Here.
Yeah, it'll upload them all.
Okay. Okay. And if I need any help with that when I get to that point, I'll ask you. Okay. All right. And then go on.
As soon as it's done here,
Yeah, because there's no pictures in there to add.
right?
Yes. Casey, do you have a notebook too that he can put it in? Yes. Oh no. Yes. Yeah, I think that'd be fine. Okay. Yeah, just find it. So you're having to click each one and then individually go in and bring them in?
I'm gonna shoot you a quick email. I think there's an update for this,
Okay.
so we'll give that a quick update before we get going with that.
Okay. Well, I'll hold off. I'm putting the pictures in then.
I'll do it this afternoon and send you a quick email and make sure it's done.
Okay.
What else do we have?
For the moment, that's about it. I mean, if I have any questions, you're always there.
You bet, you bet. All right, well, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank
And
you.
email me if you need any help.
I will.
All right, y'all
Thank
have a
you.
great afternoon.
All right,
All right,
you
thanks.
too.
You too.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.